If you're anything like me, i.e. an alpha male, you think about the Roman Empire practically every day. But what if you loved the Roman Empire so much, you named your son after it? Well, that's exactly what James Odunze did in 2002 when he named his son Rome. No middle name, no BS, just a sick name given to his son to honor the Roman Empire, Rome Odunze. And like his namesake, he strikes fear into his opposition. Not so much because he improved upon the design of the Greek ballista to kill people with the Caraballista, but he does whatever the equivalent of that is on the football field. Whatever the that means. I don't know. No more intro. Let's just talk about his strengths. At 6'3", 215, Rome Odunze is in the 83rd percentile for height and 82nd percentile for weight. His size is evident from his playstyle as he projects best as a physical possession-type X wide receiver. I think this is shown best through a discussion of his contested catch ability. He's a very effective wide receiver in contested catch situations for two reasons. First, because of positioning and ball tracking, and second, because of hand strength. On that first point, there's a good argument to be made that Odunze has the best ball tracking ability in this class. He does an excellent job getting his head around quickly to locate the ball. Once he finds the ball in the air, he's excellent at adjusting the speed of his route to either catch the ball in stride or to use his big frame to box out corners at the catch point. He has great timing to high point the ball in the air and good body control to keep his feet in bounds on sideline catches. He also consistently uses late hands to not telegraph to corners where the ball will be or if it's even coming to him, which creates space for him to bring the ball in. On the second point, he has very consistent, strong hands that he uses to extend away from his body to bring the ball in outside of his frame and through less than ideal circumstances, such as through contact, when defenders are working downhill towards him, and in tight windows. The combination of these skills lent itself to a 75% contested catch rate, which was the third highest in the nation. The most impressive part of this is that he did this on 28 opportunities, which was the 8th most contested targets. But let's take a step back for a second, because without context, that number of contested catches is actually very concerning. A high amount of contested catch opportunities on the surface lends to the conclusion that the wide receiver isn't creating much separation. For example, in 2018, N'Keal Harry, the legend, had 37 contested targets on 113 total targets. At the time, a lot of scouts chose to focus on his contested catch ability instead of focusing on why there were so many contested catches in the first place. So let's make sure we aren't going to make the same mistake here. I think that this is not really a problem because we have two additional bits of context. First, Odunze had 140 targets this season, which was the third most in the nation. Naturally, with more targets, your number of contested targets will go up. Second, his film makes it evident that although he's far from an elite route runner and not necessarily a consistent separator, he actually separates very well for his size. He's a very smooth mover and has good build-up speed to run past slower corners or cornerbacks who struggle to flip their hips. Although I don't believe it at this point, I'd be remiss if I didn't add that he has a reported 40-yard dash time of 4.34, which, if true, would be in the 95th percentile for wide receivers and would be absolutely fucking nuts for someone at 6'3". I know that he put on weight this past offseason, which consequently slowed him down a bit, while also making a better contested catch wide receiver, but if he has even close to that level of speed, that would be really crazy for his size, so it's definitely something to note. He also shows excellent mid-route separation to gain an extra yard or two or to close on the ball once it's thrown. He flashes some really great route running at times, where he'll use subtle movements and fakes during the route to keep defenders guessing. He also shows some ability at times to make very sharp cuts or to sink his hips quickly and snap off routes. But by far his most effective routes are go routes and fades, where he separates well vertically and utilizes all his skills together to get a few steps on cornerbacks, get his head around, find the ball, and catch it in stride or catch it through contact. In fact, 10 of his 13 touchdowns in 2023 came off go or fade routes, and Odunze had a 99.9 deep grade, which was tied for first. On top of his excellent size, smooth movement, high-level ball tracking, and amazing contested catch skills, Odunze has the pedigree as he played high school ball at Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, which is ranked as the #1 high school football program by Max Preps and has some alumni who you may or may not know, such as DeMarco Murray, Ronnie Stanley, Jalen Naylor, I hardly know her, and Ryan Reynolds. Oh wait, wrong Ryan Reynolds. Odunze was also a finalist for the Biletnikoff in 2023, made first team All Pac-12 in 2022 and 2023, was third team All-American in 2022, and obviously was the #1 wide receiver on a Washington team that went to the national championship. Another really important thing that stood out from his film was this fucking kid, man. Look at those biceps. Holy shit, whose child is this? Put him on the field. But as the Roman Empire one day had to fall, Rome Odunze must also have some weaknesses. Given his size, it should come as no surprise that Odunze is not an excellent mover in the short area. He's not a twitchy or explosive athlete, he's not a quick accelerator, and his stop-go ability is very inconsistent, where sometimes he can buckle down real fast, and other times he has way too much wasted movement. His change of direction isn't always sharp or quick, and he doesn't really explode out of his cuts. He can struggle to sink his hips and change momentum when working backwards, leading to him slipping and falling out of his brakes quite often. I found his overall speed to also be inconsistent, where sometimes he looked like he was just flying past guys, and other times it looked like he was having issues accelerating. His lack of short area quickness mainly hinders his game in 3 ways: at the line of scrimmage, in the quick game, and after the catch. At the line of scrimmage, he struggles to create space for himself off the snap. He's very inconsistent versus press coverage because although he has the strength to beat it, he doesn't have a diverse enough release package or quick enough movement skills to create space and prevent cornerbacks from getting into his chest, which is a pretty wide target for them given his size. This was by far the thing I repeated most in my notes. I think he'll really need to work on developing different releases, his foot speed, foot precision, and hand fighting at the line of scrimmage to be able to more consistently beat press. For much the same reason, he also isn't a huge factor in schemed up plays or the quick game. He doesn't win early in the route, so he needs more time to win, which I think is evident in the fact that 35% of his targets came on deep throws, which was 14th. Only 8.6% of his targets came on throws behind the line of scrimmage, which was 172nd out of 173 qualifiers, and 30.7% of his targets came on throws less than 10 yards, which was 80th out of 80 qualifiers. Similarly, he isn't really a threat in the open field after the catch because he lacks the short area burst and twitch to make defenders miss. He does show incredible balance with the ball in his hand at times, and he fights hard for yards after contact, but he's not really a weapon that you want to scheme up plays for. Lastly, he has a very limited route tree and runs a ton of vertical routes. 44% of his total routes were either a curl, a fade, or a go. As we mentioned before, 10 of his 13 touchdowns came off go or fade route. He'll need to run more in-breaking routes and expand his route tree in general in the NFL. But to summarize all of this, Odunze has high-end talent as a ball tracker and as a contested catcher, but he needs to develop as a route runner both at the line of scrimmage and during his route. Some of his overall upside in those areas will be hindered by his size, but what he loses as a route runner due to his size, he 100% makes up for as a wide receiver at the catch point. This is a player who has a lot of potential because he has excellent athletic traits for his size and a pretty good base to develop upon given his age. Like I said, although he needs to improve his routes and footwork, he shows flashes of doing these things and creating separation or space for himself at the line of scrimmage, and he does so more often than many college wide receivers. Nonetheless, one's at his height, so I don't doubt that he can make the progress. Rome wasn't built in a day after all, and he has some things to work on, just like every player in every draft class ever, except Ivan Pace Jr., who's awesome. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to talking ball with everyone in the comments below. I'd appreciate if you left a like on this video, as it really helps out the channel, and if you could subscribe for more NFL and NFL draft content, as I'd love if you joined our community and talked ball with us. Please let me know if you agree or disagree on my evaluation of Rome, and who you guys want to see next. Otherwise, that's about it. Later.